Many men have recounted such things, but in such a way that it is easy to see that the parts were pieced together from idle gossip of the city and silly reports from the rabble. When Vespasian, returning from Assyria, passes through Alexandria on his way to Rome to take possession of the empire, he performs wonders. He makes the crippled straight, restores sight to the blind, and does many other fine things concerning which the credulous and indiscriminating were, in my opinion, more blind than those cured. Tyrants themselves have wondered that men could endure the persecution of a single man. They have insisted on using religion for their own protection and, where possible, have borrowed a stray bit of divinity to bolster up their evil ways. If we are to believe the Sibyl of Virgil, Salmanius, in torment of having paraded as Jupiter in order to deceive the populace, how atones in nethermost hell. He suffered endless torment for having dared to imitate the thunderbolts of heaven and the flames of Jupiter. Upon his chariot, drawn by 4 charges, he went unsteadily, riding aloft in his fist a great shining torch, among the Greeks and unto the marketplace. In the heart of the city of Elis he had ridden boldly, and displaying thus his vain glory, he assumed an honor which undeniably belongs to the gods alone. This fool who imitated storm and the inimitable thunderbolt by class of brass, and with his dizzying charge, on horn-hoofed steeds, the all-powerful Father behold, hurled not a torch, nor the feeble light, from a waxen taper with its smoky fumes, but by the furious blast of thunder and lightning, he brought him low, his heels above his head. If such a one, who is in time acted merely through the folly of insolence, is so well received in hell, I think that those who have used religion as a cloak to hide their wildness will be even more deservedly lodged in the same place. Our own leaders have employed in France certain similar devices, such as toads, fleur-de-lis, sacred vessels, and standards with flames of gold. However that may be, I do not wish for my part to be incredulous. Neither we nor our ancestors have had any occasion up to now for skepticism. Our kings have always been so generous in times of peace, and so valiant in times of war, that from birth they seem not to have been created by nature like many others, but even before birth they have been designated by the Almighty God for the government and preservation of this kingdom. Even if this were not so, yet should I not enter the tilting ground to call in question the truth of our traditions, or to examine them so strictly as to take away their fine conceits. Here is such a field for our French poetry, now not merely honored, but, it seems to me, reborn through our Rosnard, our Baif, our Bally. These poets are defending our language so well that I dare to believe that very soon neither the Greeks nor the Latins will in this respect have any advantage over us except possibly that of seniority. And I should assuredly do wrong to our poesy. I like to use that word despite the fact that several have rhymed mechanically, for I still discern a number of men today capable of ennobling poetry and restoring it to its first luster. But as I say, I should do the muse great injury if I deprived her now of those fine tales about King Clovis, amongst which it seems to me I can already see how agreeable and how happily the inspiration of our Ronsard in his Franciade will play. I appreciate his loftiness, I am aware of his keen spirit, and I know the charm of the man. He will appropriate the oriflamme to his use much as did the Romans their sacred bucklers, and the shields cast from heaven to earth, according to Virgil. He will use our phial of holy oil much as the Athenians used the basket of Erectonius. He will win applause for our deeds of valor as they did for their olive wreath, which they insist can still be found in Minerva's tower. Certainly I should be presumptuous if I tried to cast slurs on our records, and thus invade the realm of our poets. But to return to our subject, the thread of which I have unwittingly lost in this discussion, it has always happened that tyrants, in order to strengthen their power, have made every effort to train their people not only in obedience and servility toward themselves, but also in adoration. Therefore, all that I have said up to the present concerning the means by which a more willing submission has been obtained applies to dictators in their relationship with the inferior and common classes.